Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the title and the thumbnail, this video is going to be about the Beretta PX4 Storm. This gun has been around for more than 20 years, but for whatever reason, a lot of people don't know anything about it at all. It has a very unique barrel and action system on it, and it's one of the most reliable pistols that you can get. So stick around if you want to learn about it. We'll do a real quick unboxing. I'll show you everything that Beretta includes with it. We'll go over all the features and specifications. I'll show you guys how to field strip it and then give some thoughts on it. And before we get started, I want to make it very clear that this is not for sale, and any guns that are shown in this video have been cleared and I'm in a safe environment. And full disclosure, this is not a new purchase to me. I actually bought this in 2008, so I've had this for more than 17 years. And if you've been around the channel for any length of time, you've probably seen this in dozens of videos. But let's get into the unboxing. As you can see, it just comes like in a cardboard box. And then inside of that box, you're gonna get this hard plastic case, got the Beretta logo and stuff on it. And then we'll see what all we get here. So you're obviously going to have the pistol itself. They did include a lock way back then. You're going to have like a little parts bin, again with their logos and stuff on it. A couple of additional back straps. It comes with the medium installed, and I'll show you guys here in a bit like how to change those out if you want. And it has the large and the small here. I've always ran the medium and it works great for me. It's going to come with 2 magazines, and these are metal, and these are also made in Italy. They are 17 round capacity. It's going to come with an assisted loader here, kind of like a speed loader. You're also going to get cleaning rod and brushes, and some manuals. And the manual actually starts off in like Italian, which I think is actually kind of nice. Something that I always thought was kind of funny is that they included this gun lock, and it actually doesn't even fit in the box. This is the way this has been since the day that I bought it, to where you actually can't close the lid or anything on this. I'm honestly not sure when the US put like the nationwide law where every gun sold has to have a gun lock. I don't think it was in place in 2008, but I could be wrong on that. And it might have been like just California that required it back when I bought this, because it says California lock on it. And before we start going over everything on the gun, I will show that we are completely clear here. So this is the Beretta PX4 Storm. In my opinion, it is one of the sexiest guns ever made. For whatever reason, it gets a lot of internet hate and people think that it is so ugly. I couldn't disagree more. I love the appearance of this thing. When I compare the way this Beretta looks to like a Glock, this Beretta is just so much nicer. Even like a CZ is better than Glock, but the Beretta is still just so much nicer. And I've had stuff from Springfield. I've had like Smith & Wessons, like M&Ps and M&P 2.0s. And just the appearance, the Beretta is just hands down my favorite. So Beretta actually makes 3 different sizes of the PX4 Storm. This is considered the full size, even though it only has a 4-inch barrel, which is like the same barrel length as a Glock 19. But this does have a longer grip here. So this is really like a Glock 19X or like the G45. And then they also make a compact and then a subcompact PX4 Storm. So like I said, 4-inch barrel. The overall length is 7.55 inches. The overall height is 5.51. And our width is going to be 1.42. And a good part of that is these little like wings here on the decock or safety, because they stick out quite a bit further than what the slide is. But even without those, it is a somewhat thicker gun. This does have a polymer frame and then a steel slide. And it is fairly heavy. It's like 27.7 ounces unloaded. So you put in, 17 or 18 rounds of 9mm, you're well over 30 some ounces. Mine is chambered in 9mm, like I just said. They do make it in 40 and I believe 45 as well. This is hammer fired and it's double action, single action. Uses a 3-dot sight system here. They are dovetails, so they're very easy to swap out. Mine, again, I bought it in 2008, comes with what's called Super Luminova sights. They discontinued them in 2010 and they just have regular 3 dots basically now. But with any type of light on the sights at all, they will glow in the dark pretty well. The slide is going to have front and rear cocking serrations. They aren't the deepest cut in the world, but it's very easy to grab onto it from, if you like to do press checks or anything. No problem getting a good grip on them. You're going to have your slide stop, slide release up here. It's got a really nice spot right there for making a quick and easy release. But compare that to like a Glock, where it's really kind of difficult sometimes to even push that up and then get it to release. But yeah, this one really sticks out, pretty far. It, however, is not reversible or ambidextrous. You can only have it on this side here. Kind of speaking of that, we got our magazine release here. See, it drops them great. That is reversible, so you can put that on that side if you want. So this back here is my safety and decocker. This is a Type F. They also made a Type G, a Type C, and a Type D. The F had basically a safety and a decocker. The G was a decocker only. C had like a spurless hammer, and then D was like basically for law enforcement only. I think it was double action only. There was no single action with it. So it had like a heavy trigger, and but I don't know when they discontinued it, but years ago, I think. So the safety is a little bit different in that when it's down, it's actually on. And when it's up and you see the red, then it's ready to actually fire. Most guns, the safety's in the up position and you can't do anything until you flip it down. Same here, up position, can't do anything till it goes down. It's probably one of the only firearms I've ever had that's the opposite. I'm going to be putting some of these in this magazine. Don't worry, this is not live ammo. These are snap caps. So one nice thing about having this type of safety decocker, let's say you have your magazine loaded and you want to chamber around. Again, not live ammo, just letting everybody know. So right now I picked one up, but I'm still on safe. As you can see, nothing's going to happen here. All right, and I will show you that we have one in here. Again, it's just a snap cap, so don't worry about that. But there's a lot of other pistols that when you have the safety engaged, it will not even allow your slide to move. But this PX4 Storm, this is a very safe way of being able to chamber around. So let's say you do chamber one that way. You're on safe, you chamber around, nothing's happening here. So if you want to shoot your gun, you then have to take it off of safety. Now it's ready, okay? So you can do two ways. You can either do it double action, where you're going to have a long trigger pull. So it's going to be kind of like this here. You can see the hammer coming back, and then we just basically fired. Or you can go ahead and bring the hammer back, and now you're in single action. Either way is fine. I personally absolutely love this trigger. Again, the double action, I don't know the exact poundage. I think it's somewhere maybe around 10 or 11 pounds. Like it is pretty heavy. But it's so smooth all the way through the entire thing. If you put it in single action, I think it's maybe around maybe 3.5 or 4 pounds. Again, don't quote me on that, but again, just very crisp, short. I'll show you guys the reset here. Pretty short, but again, just so smooth. So here's the other nice thing about the way this is. So let's say that you chambered a round and it is now ready to fire. You have a round in there. Well, with this decocker, you can push this down and basically it drops the hammer, but it doesn't fire it. Basically, it blocks it in here. And so now you're back on safe mode, but you still have a round up in there. So if you want it, you can flip it off and now you're ready to go again. But having that decocker on there is really nice. All right, so now let me show you what makes this gun so unique. It's this barrel here. Almost every gun on the market has what's called a Browning tilt barrel, and it's gonna look something like this. The slide goes back, and you'll see that the barrel basically points upward. If you watch right here, this part goes down, and the end of the barrel will slide up. Well, this Beretta does not do that. Instead, it has a rotating barrel. So watch like the lettering and stuff here. As this comes back, you see how that just rotated? It rotates back in place. It rotates back in place. I'll try to show you the end here. It stays completely straight. See how that does not tip up at all? But you can obviously see how this is rotating right here. So on a gun that has a Browning style barrel, as that barrel rises, so does the rest of the gun on every single shot. With this Beretta, with it being basically a straight barrel that never changes, you are able to stay on target so much better. You do not have that muzzle rise or muzzle flip. Again, I have shot hundreds and hundreds of pistols, and this is one of the most accurate pistols you can ever get. And last thing to mention is the grip itself. A lot of people really complain about this. They say it's way too slippery on the sides. I've honestly never had an issue. There's a ton of texturing on the front and back here. It just fits the hand really, really well. If you do want to change out to the small or that large backstrap, it's actually really easy. There's this little like metal like bar right here. And you just take a screwdriver, you pop it in here, and you just pull this thing out. And then once it gets all the way out, the backstrap just slides off, and then you just slide the new one in. It only takes a few seconds. So to field strip this gun is very, very easy. There's these little tabs here, kind of like what Glock has. You do not have to pull the trigger or anything. You just pull down both sides of that at the same time, and literally it comes apart. And then up here is our guide rod and spring, and then kind of like this cam system here. But this just pops out. You can pull this apart here. It does come with a plastic guide rod. There are people who make metal ones if you want to switch that out. And then this is the barrel. And you can see that there is like this lug that's right there, and that's what that slides in. And that's what allows that to rotate. And when you put stuff back together, you'll see right there in that little cam thing, that's what kind of basically lines up with that barrel. And it almost like just goes back together kind of on its own here. As you push that in, this all will just kind of lock in place. Just like that there. And just kind of get stuff lined back up here. So let's quickly talk about reliability. In the 17 plus years that I've had this gun, I would say that I'm close to 20,000 rounds through it. It is definitely not a safe queen. And I don't recall any malfunction of any kind. I mean, not a failure to feed, not a failure to fire. I think it's been 100% reliable. There's been no like parts breakages. I've not replaced anything on this gun ever. This was like multiple militaries have tested this, and they've went through like 150 plus thousand rounds without any type of parts breakages. It is one of the most reliable guns that you can buy. So I'm pretty sure that these are still being manufactured here in 2026, and I would definitely recommend this gun. It's a little bit bulky, a little bit heavy for a carry gun. You could do it for sure with the right belt, the right holster, but these are great for home defense. Great for plinking, even competition shooting. For sure, law enforcement, if you're armed security, whatever, these are fantastic. And I guess if it's good enough for John Wick, it's probably good enough for you. But all right, guys, if you found the video helpful or informative in any way, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.